and welcome back to Bedecked in the Burbs. I'm Beck, and today we are going to be covering a topic I have been considering covering for a very long time. And honestly, I don't know why it has taken me so long. I kind of wanted to do a series on how to dress to flatter different types of the body. I feel like everyone has, maybe not everyone, but a lot of us have an area of concern on our bodies that maybe we would like some assistance with, or maybe we want reassurance that we are doing the right things to dress that part of our body. So if you would like me to continue this series, please do comment below. And if you're interested in following along with videos like this and want to see more like this in the future, do consider subscribing. And of course, at the end of this video, if it resonates with you right now, if you like what I'm doing, if you like what I'm gonna do, hit the thumbs up too. Anyway, in this video, I wanted to start with dressing a tummy. I have 12 tips right here for dressing a tummy. And I'm hesitating to say hiding a tummy. I'm hesitating to say flattering a tummy. But regardless of what we're doing, we are dressing a tummy. We are putting clothing on or near a tummy. So I think we can safely say how to dress a tummy. Whether you want to disguise it or hide it or flatter it, we're gonna be talking about tummies today. Another reason I kind of hesitated to make this video is there are different kinds of tummies. You may carry your weight very high under your chest. You might carry your weight more in the middle. You might carry your weight very low. Not all tummies are created equal. So these are tips you can play with, you can experiment with. Please do comment or reach out to me if you feel some of these don't apply to you, if you want more guidance with those. If you want me to give you specific instructions, I can make you a Pinterest board. It's one of the services I offer. These are just some ideas, some things I've heard over the years many, many times, and I wanted to compile them in one place for those of us who need to dress different types of tummies in different ways. This was number 9 on my list, but I'm gonna start with it because fashion right now, I've said it before, fashion right now is not about flattering your body anyway. So the very first thing I'm going to tell you is that if this is not something you care about, if you don't necessarily want to hide your tummy, or if you definitely do want to hide your tummy, and you don't care about having an hourglass shape, neither does anyone else in the trends right now. It's okay. You can do oversized pants and you can do an oversized top, but you can do it in an intentional way to make you feel like cool and stylish and not just like you roll out of bed in your pajamas. But there's a cool way to do that too. That's my first tip. Embrace the oversized trend. It's okay. It's very in fashion. If that's where you're comfortable, do it. The way you can make it so that it doesn't look like you just rolled out of bed or you're trying to hide, because that's what they used to say when things were, in the flattering era. It's like, it looks like you're hiding if you wear everything oversized. But now it just looks like you're very comfortable, and that's not bad right now in fashion. That's not bad. But the way you can tell, the way you can say it's like, I still very much care about my appearance, and I'm doing this because it's comfortable and it feels good on my body, is with accessories. You can still wear nice accessories. You can still put on makeup if you're a makeup person. You can do your hair if you're a hair person. You can wear cool shoes. You can wear sambas. They don't have to be heels, but you could wear heels. Even flip-flops. Some people are like talking flip-flops. Now is the time for comfort, and if you're into baggy clothes, now is the time for baggy clothes. It's okay to cover up if that's what makes you feel most confident, but don't do it because you want to hide. Do it because you really like that style and that's how you feel most comfortable and most confident. Number 2, wear a higher rise. I was very anti high rise for a very long time because I thought maybe I knew that mid rise worked better on me, or low rise. at the time. And when I was in my 20s and maybe my 30s, but probably not. But when I was in my 20s, yes, that was probably the case. Mid-rise maybe did look better on me. And depending on the mid-rise, it still might. But the problem sometimes comes in with mid-rise is it hits you at the wrong, whatever. It doesn't always hit you in an ideal place. It'll cut you off in the middle of your belly sometimes. And if it's not the right size or style of jean, it might create a muffin top. If you want to avoid the muffin top, if you want to avoid cutting your belly in half, consider a higher rise. Of course, you will have to experiment to see exactly what kind of rise you like, but it holds everything in. And if that is not comfortable on your belly, I mean, there's varying degrees of stretch in all jeans these days, and that's actually going to be my next point. But if it really hurts your belly to have it that high rise, you could go with the stretchier jean. However, that takes me to my next point. You are going to find more structure the less spandex makeup that is in your jeans. The higher the cotton percentage in the jeans, the more rigid they are going to be, and the more they are going to hold you in. So there are pros and cons to high rigid denim and stretchy jeans, right? So the stretchy jeans tend to be more comfortable. If you get jeans with a lot of cotton and a little spandex, I think those hold their shape better. If there's too much spandex, they'll start to sag. However, if it's all cotton, they might start to sag too. So just in a different way. This is where you're gonna have to play around with what you're most comfortable in. But I will say, the stretchier the jean, it's not gonna support that belly and help flatten it. The next thing I am going to say is mostly for tops, but also for dresses. Fabric choice is going to be very important. If it's a thin knit, a very stretchy thin knit, it is going to show every lump and bump. So you're going to want, you can still do a knit like stretchy fabric, but it's going to have to be thicker. Hi pup, got my pup joined us. It's going to have to be thicker and more supportive. Shapewear is always an option. I avoid it as much as I can. You're going to want to look for a fabric with a bit more structure. If not a bit more structure, a bit more drape. So it drapes over your curves, drapes over your belly, and doesn't cling to it. This is tip number 5. I had these numbered and then I decided to switch them around at the last minute. Tip number 5 is to cinch at the narrowest part. This is really going to depend on what kind of belly you have. It might not be at your belly button. It might not be where you're wearing your actual pants. It might be right under your rib cage. Find a way to cinch at your narrowest part. Sometimes it works with a belt. Sometimes you can do that with high waist pants. What you want to do is emphasize that narrowest part of your waist or of your body. You can do this with like empire style dresses where they cinch in right here and go from there. That's great. You're gonna look smaller in that if that is your narrowest part. So find a dress that cinches there naturally, that has elastic there. You can belt it there. You can also, like I said, find a rise that hits you at your narrowest part. Or, this is gonna be maybe a little controversial, but you could potentially, if you are comfortable with it, wear a crop top that just reveals your narrowest part. And the reason I say this is because, like, how awesome, like high-waisted bikinis, like swimsuit bikinis, tend to work on most women, especially women with bellies. Like, I think that's a great option for women with bellies. And all it shows is this very top portion, and you're still showing a little bit of skin, and you're showing the skinniest part of you, and you have a nice black bottom that's covering everything you want covered, and then this cute top, whatever top you pick out with it. So don't discount the crop top. Just make sure it hits you in order to show a narrower part of your waist. It's an idea. I've seen it work. It's an option. Crop tops could be an option for you if you are comfortable in them. Tip number 6. Why did I... 6. Balance out the bottom. This is true with any body type, so this might come up in a lot of videos, but if you are big on top, balance out the bottom. If you're bigger on the bottom, balance out the top. So the way you could do this with a belly is flare jeans. Wide leg jeans too, or if you have great legs that you want to show off, like wear a little like a little flared skirt. As kind of the opposite of that, add visual interest to the top. This will probably come up in a future video too if I continue this series, but you could wear a V-neck to bring attention to your face. You could also add jewelry up here, like add cool necklace or something to bring attention up. Of course, if your hair and makeup's done and you look great, feeling confident, smiling, like off the shoulder if you're into that. Any shoulder details gonna bring attention up top. Anything to take the attention off what you don't want to show, that's gonna work for any body part really. And I will say earlier, if you're cinching your waist, I wouldn't say peplums are all the way back yet, but think of it like that, like something that hits you at the smallest part and flares out would be a good idea. Tip number 8, add a jacket or cardigan and wear it open. Anything where you can create a vertical line that makes people's eyes go like this instead of this will be a good thing. So that'll be like literal vertical, like stripes on a shirt, sure. Or you could create a vertical line by wearing a jacket and just wearing it open, because that will create that vertical line to make people's eyes go the way you want it to. That also, by the way, helps with any muffin top that's hanging out. So that is definitely a way to combat any muffin top you are worried about as well, is to wear a jacket and leave it open. You could also, by the way, of course, cinch the jacket. As per the other tip, you could use it as a cinching mechanism to show the smallest part of your waist as well. So a completer piece on top, whether it's a jacket, whether it's a vest, whether it's a cardigan, it's a great way to cover up and bring attention to the places you want people's attention to go, and maybe hide or disguise the things you don't want them to see. Wear all one color. Sure, black, wear all black, that's gonna help. Wearing all one color, regardless of what color is going to trick the eye not to focus on one specific thing, right? And just look at you as a whole package. So you could do all white, you could do all pink, you could do all blue. Just make sure everything is fitted and not clingy, because depending on what kind of color it is, you know, some colors will reflect light, some will absorb it. All denim. Controversial, maybe still, yes, mostly a millennial thing, but consider either side tuck or a front tuck or a half tuck. I'm not necessarily going to suggest a front tuck for a belly, but probably it depends on where your belly lies here. But side tuck, now what do I mean by a side tuck? It's you tuck it just like this, and this here is going to cover your belly, disguise it a little bit, but still give you some shape with the tuck. It's like, yes, I have some shape, and look, I am disguising this belly. So that's a great option. Side tuck's a great option, a great alternative to a front tuck. I don't love this look, but a lot of people do. They take a button-up shirt and they just tuck one half, like literally one of the sides that hangs down, they tuck that half and leave the other part untucked. It's not a look I gravitate towards myself. I feel like in the suburbs where we are, people will wonder, and I think sometimes they do with the side tuck or half tuck too, if you just forgot to tuck in the rest of your shirt or just snagged your shirt on your pants in the bathroom. So there's always that it might look a little sloppy and confusing to people, but I could tell you one side tucked in and the other side left out, it is going to disguise a belly, because half of the belly is hidden behind that piece of fabric. 11, prints and patterns. Now, I told you you could wear all one color. It will create a nice column of color. Focus on fit though. Prints and patterns, depending on what they are, the busier they are, the better. They're going to probably be more forgiving. Of course, you're gonna have to consider fabric choice, but it's all going to be creating, again, a trick of the eye, disguising any lumps and bumps that you are worried about. Find a print that really speaks to you, that's modern, or one that you really like, especially if it's like a busier print. And finally, my final tip is probably my favorite one. Dresses. Do not underestimate the power of dresses. If you're not a dress person, consider being a dress person. I don't know what to tell you. Shift dresses, I think shift dresses, if you carry your belly higher a little bit, I think shift dresses are a good option because they tend to come in right under the bust, or they are just straight, depending on if they have any darting, it's usually under the bust. Otherwise, it's mostly straight up and down, and they're made that way. I mean, anything you could find that is supposed to be straight up and down, that's just gonna skim right over your body, it's a great option. I love putting people in shift dresses when I can. Also, another dress that I am not usually a fan of, but I cannot think of a single individual that I've seen or I known who would look bad in this, are those tiered dresses. You've seen them probably at every price point, any length, with sleeves, without sleeves, V-neck, crew neck, I don't know. I've seen so many variations. I used to get really annoyed because they were so oversaturated and I was 100% done with the tiered dresses. However, I could see their merit. I could totally see their merit because they look good on everyone. You could find them at every price point. The great thing about that is most of them, because of the tiers, they kind of flare out a little bit at the bottom. So you are adding that balancing to the bottom, and it's skimmier curves. It's not tight, skimming over what you want to hide. And usually there's either a puff sleeve or like some sort of thing on the top, maybe a V-neck, whatever, to bring visual interest to the top. I might just be talking myself into one of those tier dresses. So those are my 12 tips for dressing a tummy. So I hope this was useful to you. If it was, please do give it a thumbs up. Let me know if I missed any tips. Please let me know if you would like me to continue this series and what body type or what problem area, maybe an area you would like to emphasize. Like maybe you got a big butt and you love it and you want to know how to show that off. Cool. Sure, I can do one of those too. I have a bunch of other ideas, but I want to hear from you as to what you want to see. I hope this was valuable to you, and I hope you'll tune in next week. Again, please do subscribe, turn on those post notifications if you'd like, and thank you so much for checking me out, giving me a chance, and watching the Decked in the Burbs. Please come back to see what I decide to deck out next. Bye.